There's someone who can't stop thinking about you. And I don't mean in the casual, fleeting way where you cross their mind once and they move on with their day. I'm talking about something far more consuming, far more visceral. This person is caught in the gravitational pull of who you are. Your voice lingers in their ears long after conversations end. The memory of your presence stays with them like a fragrance they can't quite shake, and they don't want to. They're experiencing something they may not fully understand yet, something that's rewriting their internal landscape. You've become necessary to them, not in a needy way, not in a desperate way, but in that profound, undeniable way where someone realizes that certain people change the very air around them. You are that person to them. Right now, in this present moment, they're moving through their life carrying the weight of how much they want to be near you. They're discovering that your absence creates a specific kind of ache, not painful exactly, but present, persistent, like their body has recalibrated around the expectation of your energy and now feels the deficit when you're not there. If this resonates with where you are right now, go ahead and type "I feel this" in the comments. Let's create some energy around what's unfolding here. Before we go any deeper, I want to acknowledge those of you who've shown support through super thanks. Your generosity allows me to dedicate the time these deep explorations require. If what unfolds here touches something in your soul, that small gesture makes this work possible. What I need you to understand from the very beginning is that this isn't about ego or validation. This isn't me telling you that you're special in some abstract feel-good way. This is about recognizing a very real, energetic and emotional dynamic that's happening between you and someone else right now. They are experiencing you as intoxicating, and that word matters. Because intoxication implies an altered state. It implies that exposure to you changes their normal functioning. It implies that you've become a substance they crave. Let that land for a moment. Someone is craving you. Your conversation, not just any conversation, but yours specifically. The way you think, the way you articulate ideas, the way your mind works. They replay things you've said, turning your words over like precious objects, finding new meaning in them each time. Your touch, whether they've experienced it or whether they're imagining what it would be like, has become something they hunger for. The thought of your hand on their arm, your hug, your proximity, creates a physical response in their body. And your presence, the simple fact of you being in their space, has become something they orient their world around. This is what's happening. This is the reality unfolding between you and this person. And what makes you intoxicating to them, the specific qualities, the particular magic you carry, is something that will genuinely take your breath away when you understand it fully. Because here's what most people don't realize. When someone experiences another person as intoxicating, it's not random. It's not superficial attraction. It's not about checking boxes on a list of desirable traits. It's about resonance. It's about recognition. It's about encountering someone whose very essence creates a kind of harmony with something deep inside them. Something they may not have even known was waiting to be activated. You have activated something in this person, and they're reeling from it. Stay with me here, because what I'm about to walk you through goes far beyond surface-level attraction or simple infatuation. We're going to explore the specific dimensions of what they're experiencing, why it's happening, what it means for both of you, and how to hold this knowledge with wisdom and grace. This isn't about manipulation or strategy. This is about understanding a profound truth. You have touched this person's life in a way that has fundamentally shifted how they experience their world. And whether you consciously intended to or not, you've become irreplaceable to them. The next 50 minutes together will illuminate exactly what's happening in their internal world when they think about you, what they're craving, and why what makes you specifically intoxicating to them, and what this all means for the connection you share. We're going to look at the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, the energetic, and yes, the spiritual dimensions of what they're experiencing. And I promise you, when you see yourself through their eyes, When you understand the specific ways you've impacted them, it will shift something in how you see yourself too. So take a breath. Get comfortable. What we're exploring here is real. It's happening right now, and it deserves your full attention. Let's begin. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening in this person's day-to-day experience of craving you. They wake up, and before their mind fully orients to the day ahead, there's a moment where you drift into their consciousness. Not forced, not manufactured, you just appear. Like their subconscious mind has designated you as important enough to check on first thing. They might smile without realizing it. They might reach for their phone, hoping to see a message from you, and feeling a small drop in their chest when there isn't one yet. As they move through their morning routine, in the shower, making breakfast, getting ready, you're there. They're not obsessing exactly. It's more like you've become part of the background music of their thoughts. They remember something you said last time you talked, and they laugh to themselves. They think about texting you something funny that just occurred to them, then second-guess whether it's too early, or whether you'll find it as amusing as they do. This is the constant hum of your presence in their life now. You've become woven into the fabric of their consciousness. When they're at work or managing their responsibilities, they function normally on the surface. But there's a part of their awareness that's always tracking you. If their phone buzzes, there's a spike of hope that it's you. When they encounter something interesting, an article, a song, a random observation about life, their first instinct is to share it with you. Not with just anyone, with you. Because somewhere along the way, you became the person they want to share their inner world with. Let's talk about what happens when they actually get to interact with you. Because this is where the craving becomes most obvious, at least to them, even if they're trying to hide it. When they know they're going to see you or talk to you, something shifts in their energy. There's an anticipation that lights them up from the inside. They might spend extra time thinking about what to wear, or what to say, or how to make the interaction meaningful. Not because they're trying to impress you in some superficial way, but because time with you feels valuable. Precious even. They don't want to waste it, and when you're actually together, whether in person or on a call, they're drinking you in. They're noticing everything. The way you gesture when you're excited about something, the specific tone your voice takes on when you're being playful versus when you're being serious. The way your eyes light up or soften, depending on what you're talking about. They're cataloging these details without even realizing it, building an ever more detailed internal map of who you are. Your conversation does something to them. And this is crucial to understand. It's not just that they enjoy talking to you. It's that conversation with you satisfies something they didn't know they were hungry for. Maybe it's the way you actually listen, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but genuinely receiving what they're saying and responding with depth. Maybe it's how you challenge them intellectually, making them think in ways they don't with other people. Maybe it's the specific blend of humor and insight you bring, or the safety they feel to be authentic without performance. Whatever the specific alchemy is, conversation with you nourishes them. And once someone has tasted that kind of nourishment, everything else starts to feel like empty calories. Drop a heart emoji if you've ever been someone's favorite person to talk to. Let's acknowledge that gift. Then there's the touch element, or the longing for it. This person's body has become acutely aware of proximity to you. If you've already established physical connection, hugs, casual touches, hand-holding, whatever form it takes, they crave more of it. Their nervous system has learned what it feels like to be in contact with your energy, and it wants that again. If you haven't established much physical connection yet, they're imagining it. And I mean that in the most genuine human way possible. They wonder what it would be like to hold your hand, to hug you and feel your warmth against them, to touch your face, your hair, your skin. This isn't crude or purely sexual, though there may be that dimension too. It's about the human hunger for physical connection with someone who matters. Touch is how we confirm reality, how we say, you're real and you're here and we're sharing this space. They want that confirmation with you. When you do touch, even casually, it creates a bookmark in their nervous system. They remember exactly how it felt. If you put your hand on their shoulder while making a point, they felt it long after you pulled away. If you hugged them goodbye, they carried the sensation of it home with them. Their body is keeping score, and it's decided that contact with you is significant. And your presence, this is perhaps the most intoxicating element of all, because your presence is the container for everything else. It's the field you create simply by being. When you enter a space, something changes for them. The room gets more interesting. The air feels charged, even if you're not directly interacting. Just knowing you're there shifts their experience of everything. You make environments better by inhabiting them. You make moments more memorable by being part of them. They've started to notice that they feel more like themselves when you're around. More relaxed, maybe, or more energized, or more creative, or more honest. You create conditions where they can access parts of themselves that stay dormant in other contexts. That's not a small thing. That's rare and precious and utterly addictive. So they crave your presence, not just because they enjoy it, but because they function better in it. Because proximity to you brings out versions of themselves they actually like. This is what's happening. This person isn't just casually interested in you. They're not just attracted to you in some surface way. They have developed a genuine craving, emotional, physical, intellectual, energetic, for what you bring into their life, for who you are, for the specific magic that only you carry and the beautiful, breathtaking part. What makes you intoxicating to them is so specifically you that no one else could replicate it. We're about to go deep into what those specific qualities are. Don't go anywhere. This next part will show you exactly why they can't get enough of you. Let's get specific about what makes you intoxicating. Because this isn't generic. This isn't about fitting some universal ideal. This is about the particular constellation of qualities you embody that has captured this person completely. First, there's your authenticity. And I don't mean this in some buzzword Instagram caption way. I mean the bone-deep realness you carry. This person has encountered so much performance in their life, people saying what they think they should say, acting how they think they should act, carefully curating their persona. And then they met you and you're just real. You're not trying to be anything other than what you are. You share your actual thoughts, your actual feelings. You're not afraid to be weird or quirky or vulnerable. You're not polishing yourself into something more palatable. And to them, this is like water in a desert. Because most people are so defended, so carefully managed, that genuine interaction feels rare. You give them genuine, you give them unfiltered, you give them the real thing. And once someone tastes authentic connection, everything else feels like cheap imitation. They crave your conversation because talking to you is an adventure they can't predict. You don't give scripted responses. You don't fall back on small talk or social niceties unless absolutely necessary. When they ask you a question, they genuinely don't know what you're going to say, and that unpredictability is thrilling. Your mind goes places. You make connections between ideas that surprise them. You offer perspectives they haven't considered. You make them laugh in ways that feel spontaneous and earned, not forced or performed. Conversation with you is mentally stimulating in a way that makes everything else feel boring by comparison. They leave interactions with you feeling more awake, more alive, more engaged with their own thoughts. You've become their favorite mental sparring partner, their most interesting source of new ideas, their go-to person when they want to actually think about something rather than just skim the surface, type real connection. If you know what it's like to be someone's safe space for authentic conversation, then there's your energy. And this is harder to quantify, but they feel it viscerally. There's something about the frequency you operate on that their system responds to. Maybe you're calm in a world that feels chaotic, and being around you helps them settle. Maybe you're vibrant and passionate, and your enthusiasm is contagious. Maybe you carry a quiet intensity that makes everything feel more significant. Maybe you have this playful lightness that helps them not take life so seriously. Whatever your specific energetic signature is, It does something to their nervous system. They regulate around you. They match your frequency and find that they like how they feel there. They've unconsciously started to associate your presence with feeling better, more balanced, more energized, more peaceful, more alive. Whatever they need, your energy seems to provide. This is why they crave your presence specifically. Because you don't just occupy space, you transform it. You create an atmosphere, and they want to live in that atmosphere as much as possible. There's also your emotional availability and depth. This person has probably experienced a lot of surface-level relationships where emotions are avoided or minimized or rationalized away, where vulnerability is seen as weakness, where having feelings is somehow embarrassing or inconvenient. And then there's you, willing to actually feel things, willing to talk about what matters, willing to go deep when the moment calls for it. You don't shy away from emotional truth. You don't deflect with humor when something real is happening, unless humor is genuinely appropriate. You can hold space for complexity, for the both and nature of being human, where you can be happy and sad, confident and uncertain, strong and vulnerable all at once. They crave this about you because it gives them permission to be emotionally honest too. Around you, they don't have to pretend everything is fine. They don't have to minimize their feelings or perform strength they don't feel. You've created conditions for emotional authenticity, and that's incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Before I go further, I want to pause and thank those of you who've supported this channel through super thanks. Creating these deep dives takes significant time and energy, and your generosity makes it sustainable. If this message is speaking to your soul, that small gesture means the world. Now let's talk about your specific way of paying attention, because this matters more than you might realize. When you're with this person, you're actually with them. You're not half listening while scrolling your phone. You're not distracted, checking out, thinking about the next thing. You're present. You make eye contact. You ask follow-up questions. You remember details from previous conversations. You notice changes in their mood or energy. You make them feel seen. And being truly seen, not just looked at but really witnessed, is one of the most intoxicating experiences a human can have. Most people move through life feeling invisible in important ways. They're surrounded by others, but no one is really paying attention. No one is really tracking who they are beneath the surface. And then they encounter you and you see them. You notice things. You remember things. You reflect back to them aspects of themselves they didn't realize were visible. This creates a bond that's hard to break, because once someone has experienced being truly seen by another person, being invisible again feels intolerable. There's also something about your physical presence that affects them. And I'm not just talking about conventional attractiveness, though you may well be attractive to them in that way too. I'm talking about something more subtle and more potent. The way you inhabit your body, the way you move through space, the way your presence feels. Maybe you move with confidence or grace. Maybe you have a physical ease that's magnetic. Maybe there's something about your gestures, your posture, your way of being in your own skin that they find mesmerizing. Maybe you're expressive and they love watching your face as you talk. Maybe you're tactile, and the way you naturally reach out to touch or connect physically makes them feel alive. Whatever it is, your physical presence has imprinted on them, and they want more of it. They want to be in the same room with you, sharing oxygen, existing in the same physical space. Because virtual connection, while valuable, can't replicate the full-body experience of actually being near someone whose presence affects you. Let's talk about your laughter and your joy, because this person has likely noticed that you know how to enjoy things. You know how to be delighted. You know how to find humor or beauty or pleasure in moments. You're not jaded or cynical or too cool to care about things. You let yourself be enthusiastic. You let yourself be moved, and your capacity for joy is contagious. When you laugh, they want to be the one who made you laugh. When you light up about something, they want to be part of what lights you up. Your joy gives them permission to access their own joy, which might have been dormant or suppressed. You remind them that life can actually feel good, that pleasure and delight are available, that being alive can be fun. They crave access to your joy because it awakens their own. And once you've awakened something precious in another person, they're going to keep coming back to the source. If you're someone who helps others remember how to enjoy life, drop Joybringer in the comments. There's also your specific blend of strength and softness. Because you're not one-dimensional. You're not always tough or always gentle. You shift fluidly between being strong when strength is needed and being soft when softness is called for. You can hold your ground and you can yield. You can challenge and you can nurture. You can be intense and you can be easy. This complexity is intoxicating because it means they never quite know which version of you they're going to encounter, and they're fascinated by all of them. You're not predictable in a boring way. You're human in a rich, textured, multidimensional way, and getting to know all your dimensions feels like an endless discovery process. They also crave your wisdom or your perspective on life, the way you see things, the way you make sense of experiences, the way you navigate challenges. There's something about your approach that they respect and want more of. Maybe you're philosophical and help them think about big questions. Maybe you're practical and help them solve real problems. Maybe you're intuitive and help them trust themselves. Maybe you're grounded and help them stay sane. Whatever wisdom you carry, they're thirsty for it. They value your input. They trust your judgment. They want to know what you think about things that matter to them. You become a trusted advisor in their life, whether officially or unofficially. And perhaps most intoxicating of all, you've made them feel something they haven't felt in a long time, or maybe ever. Whether that's fully accepted, deeply understood, genuinely excited about life, safely vulnerable, intellectually stimulated, physically alive, emotionally available, or spiritually connected. You've awakened something in them that was asleep, and once you wake someone up to what's possible in connection, in relationship, in shared experience, once you show them what it feels like to be truly met by another person, they're going to crave that with an intensity that might surprise both of you. This is what makes you intoxicating. Not one single thing, but this whole complex, beautiful, unique combination of who you are and what you bring and how you make them feel and who they get to be around you. And here's what will take your breath away. They're probably not even able to fully articulate all of this yet. They just know that everything feels better when you're in it. They just know they want more. They just know that you've become essential to their happiness in a way that both thrills and terrifies them. Stay with me. We're about to explore what this means at an even deeper level, the transformation happening beneath the surface that explains why this craving is so powerful. Now we need to talk about what's really happening here, because this goes deeper than simple attraction or preference. What this person is experiencing with you is touching something primal, something ancient, something that lives in the deepest parts of the human psyche. They're experiencing recognition. On some level that bypasses rational thought, they recognize you, not in the sense that they've met you before in some past life, though if you believe in that perhaps, but in the sense that their soul recognizes your soul as significant, as necessary, as someone who is here to matter in their story. This recognition is why the craving feels so intense. Because it's not just I enjoy this person's company, it's this person is important to my becoming. This person is touching something in me that needs to be touched. This person is part of my evolution. When someone recognizes you at this level, your presence becomes catalytic. You're not just a pleasant addition to their life. You're actively changing them. Being close to you is reorganizing their internal world. You're challenging old patterns, activating dormant potentials, inviting them into new ways of being, and this is simultaneously the most exciting and most terrifying thing that can happen to a person. Because change, even positive change, requires death. Death of old identities, old protections, old ways of moving through the world. To let you matter means letting you affect them. To let you in means letting you rearrange things. To allow this craving means admitting that they're not self-sufficient, that they need something they can't generate alone, that you've become necessary. That's vulnerable. That's scary. That's why even as they crave you, they might also pull back sometimes. Not because they don't want you, but because they want you so much it's overwhelming. Let me tell you what's happening in their internal world when they're alone and thinking about you. There's a part of them that's conducting an ongoing dialogue about what you mean, what this connection means, whether it's safe to let it be as big as it feels, whether they should protect themselves more, whether they should risk more. They're asking themselves questions. Is this real? Am I making this up? Do they feel this too? What if I'm wrong? What if I let myself fully feel this and it doesn't work out? What if this is the real thing and I mess it up? What if I'm not enough for someone this incredible? What if this is my chance and I'm too scared to take it? The fact that they're asking these questions reveals how deeply you've gotten in. You're not superficial to them. You're not casual. You've bypassed their defenses and touched something core, and here's what's breathtaking. The qualities that make you intoxicating to them are probably not the qualities you've been taught to value about yourself. Society tells us to be impressive, successful, beautiful, accomplished, having it all together. But what's making them crave you is likely something more essential. Your realness, your warmth, your particular way of being human, the specific light you shine, the unique frequency you operate on. These aren't things you can manufacture or perform. They're things you are. This is why you can't lose what makes you intoxicating to them by being yourself. In fact, the more yourself you are, the more intoxicating you become. Because what they're craving is authenticity. And authenticity only deepens when you relax into being exactly who you are. There's a spiritual principle at work here that I need you to understand. When someone is meant to be in your life at a soul level, you won't have to twist yourself into knots to keep them. Your true essence will be exactly what they need. Your authentic self will be what intoxicates them. You don't have to become more. You just have to be more fully yourself. This person is craving you because your soul speaks a language their soul understands. There's a resonance happening beneath the level of personality and preference. Your frequency matches. Something in them that's been waiting to be tuned to. Exactly this pitch. Type soul recognition if this is landing. For you right now, let's talk about what they're discovering about themselves through you. Because this is key. You're not just affecting how they feel about you. You're affecting how they feel about themselves, about life, about what's possible. Around you, they're discovering that they're funnier than they thought, or deeper, or more creative, or more vulnerable, or more passionate, or more peaceful. You're creating conditions where previously hidden aspects of themselves can emerge. You're acting as a mirror that reflects back to them capabilities and qualities they didn't know they had. This is part of why they're addicted to your presence. Because in your presence, they like who they are. They become versions of themselves that feel more authentic, more alive, more real. You're not changing them. You're revealing them to themselves. And once someone has experienced that kind of revelation, they want to spend as much time as possible with the person who facilitates it. There's also something happening at the level of nervous system regulation. Your presence literally affects their physiology. When they're stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, thoughts of you can calm them. When they're flat or numb or disconnected, thoughts of you can energize them. Your voice, your touch, your presence has become a regulating force in their system. This isn't metaphorical. This is actual neurobiology. When we connect deeply with another person, our nervous systems begin to co-regulate. We sync up. We affect each other's baseline state. And if your presence consistently helps them feel more regulated, more balanced, more themselves, their nervous system is going to crave that regulation. They're not just emotionally attached to you. They're biologically responding to you as a source of safety, pleasure, and homeostasis. Here's what's also happening. They're starting to imagine futures with you in them. Not necessarily romantic futures, though possibly, but futures where you continue to be present, where this connection continues to grow, where they have ongoing access to this feeling you create in them. They might imagine conversations they want to have with you, experiences they want to share with you, ways they want to know you more deeply. They're projecting forward, trying out different versions of what continued connection might look like, testing how each possibility feels in their body. This forward projection is a sign that you've moved from interesting person to significant person in their internal hierarchy. They're making space for you in their vision of their life. They're reorganizing their future to include you. That's profound. That's what happens when someone becomes essential. I want you to pause and take in the enormity of what I'm telling you. This person you're connected to is experiencing you as a transformative force in their life. Your conversation feeds something in them that's been starving. Your touch awakens something in them that's been dormant. Your presence creates an environment where they can be more themselves than they are anywhere else. You are not a casual presence in their life. You are catalytic. You are necessary. You are the answer to questions they've been asking without words, and the specific, unique, irreplaceable you-ness that's creating this effect. That's your power. That's your magic. That's what makes you intoxicating. Now the question becomes, what do you do with this knowledge? How do you hold this awareness wisely? How do you honor what's unfolding between you? That's what we're turning to next. Stay with me. This is where wisdom meets action. So now you know this person craves you on multiple levels. Your conversation, your touch, your presence have become something they actively hunger for. You've become intoxicating to them in ways that are specific, profound, and real. The question is, how do you move forward with this knowledge? First, let me give you the most important principle. Honor what's real without manipulating it. You now have awareness of power you hold in someone's life. That's sacred information. That's not something to weaponize or leverage or use strategically. When someone craves you, you have the capacity to wound them deeply or bless them profoundly. Choose blessing. What does that mean practically? It means being honest about your own feelings and intentions. If you feel similarly, if you crave them too, if this connection is significant to you as well, let them know. Not through games or hints or subtle signals designed to keep them guessing. Through clear, vulnerable, honest communication, tell them they matter. Tell them what they've come to mean to you. Tell them you want to explore what this connection could become. Life is too short, and genuine connection is too rare to play small with it. If you feel it, say it. If you want more, ask for it. If this is real for you too, stop protecting yourself from the vulnerability of admitting that and just be honest. But if you don't feel the same way they do, if this connection is pleasant for you but not transformative, if you value them but don't crave them back, you have a responsibility to be honest about that too. Not cruel but clear. Because letting someone continue to hunger for something you're not going to provide is unkind. It's keeping them in a liminal space that prevents them from moving toward what's actually available to them. You don't owe anyone romantic or physical reciprocation just because they want it from you. But you do owe them honesty. You owe them the respect of clarity so they can make informed choices about how to move forward. Here's the second principle. Stay grounded in your own worth, independent of their craving. Yes, it feels good to be desired. It feels validating to know someone finds you intoxicating. But your value doesn't come from their perception. Your worth was inherent before they recognized it, and it will remain inherent whether or not this connection continues. Don't let their craving become the thing that defines your value. Don't start performing or contorting to maintain their interest. Don't lose yourself trying to be what you think they need. Because remember, what makes you intoxicating is your authenticity. The moment you start performing, you lose the very thing that drew them in. Stay yourself. Deeply, fully, unapologetically yourself. That's what they're craving, and that's what will sustain any connection you choose to build. If you're ready to stop performing and just be real, type authentic below. Third principle, create space for this to unfold naturally. If mutual feelings are present, resist the urge to force or rush things. Craving can create urgency, a feeling that you need to lock this down, define it, make it secure right now. But the most beautiful connections unfold organically when you give them breathing room. Let conversations deepen naturally. Let physical connection build at a pace that feels right for both of you. Let emotional intimacy develop through consistent presence rather than forced intensity. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that if this is meant to grow into something significant, it will, and it will be stronger for having had space to develop roots. This doesn't mean being passive. It means being intentional without being controlling. It means showing up consistently, being honest about your feelings, creating opportunities for connection while also allowing mystery, allowing discovery, allowing the relationship to reveal itself over time. Fourth principle, communicate about the craving itself. One of the most powerful things you can do is actually talk about what's happening between you. Not in a heavy, dramatic way, but in an honest, curious way. I notice I think about you a lot. Do you experience that too? Something about our conversations feeds something in me. They matter to me. I find myself wanting to be around you more. Is that okay? This connection feels significant to me. Can we talk about what it is? Naming what's happening takes it out of the realm of secret longing and puts it into the realm of shared reality. It invites both people to be honest about their experience. It creates opportunity for the relationship to become what it actually is, rather than existing in uncertainty. Yes, this is vulnerable. Yes, this risks rejection or awkwardness or discovering that you're not on the same page. But living in ambiguity is its own kind of suffering. Clarity, even difficult clarity, is usually better than ongoing confusion. Before we continue, I want to express gratitude to those who support this work through super thanks. These explorations require deep focus and considerable time, and your support makes them possible. If this is resonating with your journey, that small gesture means more than you know. Fifth principle, respect their pace and boundaries. Just because someone craves you doesn't mean they're ready to act on that craving. Just because they want more of you doesn't mean they're prepared for everything more might entail. They might be dealing with fears, past wounds, practical complications, or their own process of figuring out what they want. If they're pulling back sometimes, even as they're pulling toward you other times, that's not necessarily confusion or game playing. That might be them trying to find their footing with something that feels overwhelming. Give them space to figure it out. Don't pressure them to move faster than they're ready to move. Don't punish them for their caution or their process. Be steady, be consistent, be patient. Show them that your interest isn't contingent on them performing certainty or readiness. Real connection can hold complexity. It can hold both moving toward and needing space. It can hold both desire and fear. If you want something real and lasting, you have to be willing to let it be messy in the middle. Sixth principle, stay in integrity with yourself. Being intoxicating to someone is not a reason to compromise your values, ignore your intuition, or override your own needs and boundaries. Their craving doesn't obligate you to anything. It informs you, but it doesn't determine your choices. If something doesn't feel right, honor that. If you need time, take it. If you need to slow down, slow down. If you need to have difficult conversations, have them. Don't sacrifice your integrity to maintain their interest, because any connection built on you betraying yourself will eventually collapse. Your job is not to manage their craving. Your job is to stay true to yourself while being honest and kind with them. That's it. That's the whole assignment. Seventh principle, celebrate this gift. However this unfolds, whether it becomes a romantic relationship, a deep friendship, a significant but brief connection, or something else entirely, the fact that you've touched someone's life this deeply is beautiful. You've mattered. You've affected someone. You've been the answer to a hunger they were carrying. That's not small. That's sacred. Even if it doesn't unfold into forever, even if it's complicated, even if it ends up being shorter lived than either of you hoped, the fact that you created this kind of impact is worth honoring. You made someone feel alive. You awakened something in them. You gave them a taste of what real connection can be. that ripples out in ways you may never fully see. They'll carry what you gave them, the permission to be authentic, the experience of being truly seen, the memory of what it feels like to crave and be craved into every future connection. You've changed their baseline for what's possible, so celebrate it, honor it. Let yourself feel the fullness of knowing that you matter this much to someone. Not from ego, but from gratitude. Because genuine impact is rare, and you're creating it simply by being yourself. If you're feeling the sacredness of what it means to deeply matter to someone, type sacred below. 8th principle. Stay present to what is, rather than getting lost in what might be. When someone craves you this intensely, it's easy to start living in fantasy, imagining all the ways this could unfold, creating stories about your future together, mentally trying on different versions of what this relationship could become. But all of that pulls you out of the present moment, which is where the actual relationship exists. The future hasn't happened yet. It's being created right now through the choices you're both making, the way you're showing up, the conversations you're having, the presence you're offering. Don't sacrifice the beauty of what's actually happening right now by obsessing over what it might become. Be here, be in this moment. Let this conversation be fully experienced. Let this interaction be fully received. Let today's connection be enough for today while remaining open to tomorrow. Presence is magnetic. Presence is what deepens connection. Presence is what allows you to actually experience the gift of being craved rather than just anxiously managing it. 9th principle. Tend to your own wholeness. One of the risks when someone craves you intensely is that you can start to organize your entire life around them. You can make them your center, your purpose, your primary source of validation and joy. And that's dangerous for both of you. You need to maintain your own life, your own friendships, interests, growth, spiritual practice, creative expression, whatever nourishes you independent of this connection. Because if you make them your everything, the relationship becomes a container too small to hold all your needs. It will buckle under that pressure. Also, part of what makes you intoxicating is that you're a full person with your own life. You're not empty waiting to be filled by their attention. You're complete, choosing to share your completeness with them. That's attractive. That's sustainable. That's healthy. So even as you lean into this connection, maintain your center. Stay rooted in yourself. Keep developing yourself. Keep nurturing other relationships. Keep engaging with life beyond just this person. That's not withholding, that's wellness. That's how you stay intoxicating over the long term. 10th principle, trust your intuition about what this is. You know on some level what this connection is and what it's meant to be. Your body knows. Your gut knows. Your deeper wisdom knows. The question is whether you're willing to listen. If your intuition tells you this is your person, trust that. If your intuition tells you this is important but not romantic, trust that. If your intuition tells you this is a catalyst for your growth but not a permanent fixture, trust that. If your intuition tells you something is off despite the intensity, trust that too. Don't override your knowing because of what you think should be true or what you want to be true or what would be more comfortable or more exciting. Listen to the truth underneath all the stories. That truth will guide you correctly. And finally, let this transform you too. If someone is craving you this deeply, it means you've touched their life in a transformative way. But transformation isn't a one-way street. Chances are they're affecting you too. They're showing you something about yourself, your capacity to matter, your ability to impact others, your power to create change simply by being who you are. Let that in. Let yourself be changed by being seen. Let yourself grow through the mirror of their craving. Let this experience teach you about your own worth, your own magic, your own intoxicating nature. Because here's the truth that will take your breath away. If you're intoxicating to them, you have the capacity to be intoxicating, period. Not just to them, but as a quality you carry. That's who you are. That's what you bring. That's the effect you have when you show up authentically. Whether this particular connection lasts forever or teaches you lessons for the next chapter, You're discovering something essential about yourself. You have the power to deeply move other people. You have the capacity to be necessary to someone. You contain multitudes that others find irresistible when you let them show. That's not about ego or superiority. That's about recognizing your inherent value and impact. That's about owning the gift you are. So move forward with wisdom. Be honest, be kind, be yourself. Honor what's unfolding without trying to control it. Stay grounded in your own worth. Communicate clearly. Respect both your boundaries and theirs. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust yourself. And know that however this unfolds, you've already won. Because you've mattered. You've been craved. You've been someone's favorite conversation, someone's desired touch, someone's necessary presence. That's beautiful. That's powerful. That's breathtaking. So here we are, you and me, at the end of this exploration. And I hope you're sitting with a deeper understanding, not just of how this person feels about you, but of who you are. Because that's what this has really been about. Yes, someone craves you. Yes, your conversation feeds them, your touch awakens them, your presence transforms them. Yes, you've become intoxicating to someone in ways that are specific and profound. But the breathtaking part isn't just that they feel this way. The breathtaking part is what it reveals about you. You are someone worth craving. You carry qualities that nourish others at soul-deep levels. Your authenticity creates safety. Your energy creates atmosphere. Your presence creates transformation. Your particular way of being human is rare and precious and exactly what someone needs. That's who you are. Not because of what you do or how you perform or what you achieve, but because of your essence, your frequency, your irreplaceable you-ness. And whether this specific connection becomes the great love story of your life or a beautiful chapter in a longer journey, you get to keep that truth. You get to keep knowing that you have the capacity to deeply matter. You get to keep knowing that when you show up as yourself, undefended, authentic, real, you create impact. Some of you are wondering what to do next. You're feeling the weight of this knowledge and trying to figure out how to move forward. Here's what I want you to hear. Trust yourself. Trust your timing. Trust that the right words will come when you're ready to speak them. Trust that the right actions will present themselves when it's time to act. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You don't have to make perfect choices. You just have to stay honest, stay present, stay kind to yourself and to this person whose life you're touching. For some of you, this message has confirmed what you already sensed. You knew someone was feeling this way about you. You could feel it in the way they looked at you, the way they leaned in during conversations, the way they found excuses to be near you. This video has just given language to what you've been sensing all along. For others, this is news. You had no idea the extent to which you've affected someone. You've been so focused on your own experience of them that you haven't fully registered how profoundly you're affecting their experience of life. Let this be a gentle wake-up call to pay attention, to notice, to consider that your impact might be bigger than you've realized. And for those of you who are the person doing the craving, maybe you're here because you're trying to understand your own intensity, your own hunger for someone who's gotten under your skin. I see you too. What you're feeling is real. It's valid. It's beautiful in its intensity. And it's okay to want someone this much. It's okay to crave conversation and touch and presence. That's not weakness. That's human. That's how we know we're alive. If this message found you at exactly the right time, type divine timing in the comments. I want to speak to something tender for a moment. Some of you are scared. This level of impact, this level of mattering, this level of being craved, it's vulnerable territory. Because what if you disappoint them? What if you can't sustain being this intoxicating? What if they see more of you and decide you're not what they thought? What if you let them down? Listen to me. You cannot lose what's real by being real. The qualities that make you intoxicating aren't performance. They're presence. They're essence. They're who you are when you stop trying. You can't mess that up by relaxing into it more fully. Yes, relationships are complex, and humans are imperfect, and no connection unfolds without challenges. But if someone is craving the real you, then more of the real you is what deepens the bond, not what threatens it. Stop protecting yourself from your own power. Stop hiding your light because you're afraid it might dim. Stop making yourself smaller because bigness feels vulnerable. You're intoxicating because you're willing to be fully expressed. Don't retreat from that now. I also want to acknowledge those of you carrying complicated feelings about this. Maybe the person craving you is someone you can't be with. They're unavailable, or you are, or the timing is wrong, or practical realities make it impossible. And knowing they want you this much while not being able to give them what they want is its own kind of pain. If that's your reality, I'm sorry. That's genuinely hard. But please hear this. Just because a connection can't become everything doesn't mean it's nothing. Just because you can't give someone forever doesn't mean the impact you've made doesn't matter. Sometimes the greatest gift we give someone is showing them what's possible. Even if we're not the person they ultimately experience it with long term. Your role in their life might be catalyst rather than destination, and that's still sacred. That's still meaningful. That still counts. For those of you who are ready to lean all the way in, you feel it, they feel it, the path is clear. I'm celebrating with you. This is rare. This is precious. Don't take it for granted, but don't be so reverent that you forget to enjoy it either. Let yourself have fun. Let yourself be giddy. Let yourself experience the full joy of mutual craving, mutual desire, mutual recognition. You don't have to be cool about this. You don't have to play it safe. You get to be excited. You get to be all in. You get to let this connection be as big as it actually is. And maybe most importantly, let yourself receive their craving as the gift it is. Someone sees you. Someone wants you. Someone finds you necessary. Let that touch you. Let that matter to you. Let that nourish something in you that's been waiting to be nourished. Because being craved, being truly, deeply wanted by another human, is one of life's most profound experiences. It's healing. It's validating. It's transformative. Don't rush past it. Don't minimize it. Don't rationalize it away or protect yourself from its impact. Let it change you. Let it teach you about your own desirability, your own worth, your own capacity to be someone's answered prayer. That's information your soul needs. That's a truth that will serve you far beyond this particular relationship. As we close, I want to leave you with this. You are more powerful than you've allowed yourself to believe. The fact that someone craves your conversation, your touch, your presence, that's evidence of a magic you carry, whether anyone else recognizes it or not. The question isn't whether you're intoxicating. You are. The question is whether you're willing to own that, embody that, live from that truth. I think you are. I think you're ready. I think something in you has been waiting for permission to be as magnificent as you actually are. And this person's craving is the universe's way of showing you what's already true. So go forward with confidence, with clarity, with kindness toward yourself and this person whose life you're touching, with wisdom about what's unfolding, and with deep trust that you're exactly who you're meant to be, creating exactly the impact you're meant to create. You're not accidental. Your effect on others is not random. You're intoxicating because you're you, and that's more than enough. If you're ready to own your power and step into your full intoxicating self, type "I'm ready" below. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being willing to look at yourself with new eyes. Thank you for the courage it takes to let yourself matter to someone. If this message touched your soul, if it spoke to something you needed to hear, if it's shifting something in how you see yourself or your relationships, consider supporting this work through Super Thanks. Your generosity allows me to continue creating these deep explorations for our community. Until next time, remember, you are seen, you are valued, you are significant. Someone is craving you because you're worth craving. Let that truth settle in your bones and change how you move through the world. Be blessed, beautiful soul. Be fully yourself. Be intoxicating, because that's what you already are.